We're live, and my dog's really excited about it. Hi,
You can
everyone.
can feel the excitement in the air.
I know. I said we're live, and he's like, "We are?" So hi, and welcome to the e-commerce Black Friday, Cyber Monday webinar. I know it's been a while since we hopped on with you guys, so I hope everyone's having a good fall, good spooky season. And maybe for some of you, you're thinking Black Friday is in like a month and a half. Why are we talking about this now? Well, we're going to tell you why we're talking about this now. It's never too early to get started for the biggest shopping weekend of the year. We have a ton to cover today. So go ahead and do us a favor for all of our back-breaking, bone-aching work that we do for you. Just go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, help us justify chatting with you guys at least once a month to our bosses. So while we're just waiting for people to roll in, feel free to say hi to us in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm just going to hit you with a few stats before we get started, just so you can really understand why this is so important. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, huge shopping weekend for e-commerce sites. Huge, huge, huge. Could not be huger. And especially now, I mean, COVID is starting to become a little bit less of like major, all anybody can think about. People are being vaccinated, mandates are being lifted, people don't have to wear masks in stores anymore in a lot of places. But just because government mandates aren't still in place doesn't mean that there isn't still a sort of public opinion about COVID, maybe preferring to shop online, maybe not feeling totally emotionally safe or physically safe being in like a really crowded store with a bunch of people, especially over a holiday weekend when you might be seeing loved ones that are vulnerable, babies, elderly people. Definitely, I mean, at least for me, I prefer to shop online because I'm still like, ooh, I don't know.
I think a lot of people also just kind of discovered the convenience of it too. If they had not
Oh,
done that
for
previously in years
sure.
past, last year kind of forced them into this. Well, the shops are closed, or it's a lot more difficult to go out in person. Let me dip my toe into that experience, and I think that
For
we saw
sure.
such a meteor. I'm sure some of the information you can talk about there, but yeah, I think it's beyond even just the current state of the situation. It's people were exposed to that for the first time and dealt with it for the first time a
Yeah.
lot last year, and realized the convenience of it.
Oh, I'm guilty of that for sure. I was a total COVID shopper. Like every day I'm like, can't go to the movies, can't go to
Yep.
the mall,
Yep.
can't go out to a bar. Let me just see what sales are on. Every day packages at the door. My boyfriend's like, what? Like, what else could you possibly have to buy? But point being, there are some pretty remarkable statistics with Cyber Monday and Black Friday, especially with like kind of the world climate right now. So last year in 2020, the revenue was $12.8 billion on one day. Like, that's insane. That is crazy. And you definitely want to get a piece of that pie, right? Like, no Thanksgiving pun intended.
You're
But
gonna
it would
make me hungry again on this one, aren't you?
right? It's I always do that. But that's definitely something to bear in mind. Like even if you are a smaller shop, even if you're not Amazon or Best Buy, there are still things that people are motivated to buy, and it's gearing up to the Christmas season, the Hanukkah season, whatever it is that you celebrate, gift giving season. Then it's really a good time to kind of carve out your space, your digital space, make sure that your buyers are aware of you. Ultimately, you're not the only person doing Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, right? Everyone does them. You're not unique. Everybody is going to be doing them. So if your site isn't ready for this kind of influx of buyers with their credit cards out, ready, like sitting next to their computer, they're just going to go to your competition. They'll go to literally anybody else because everyone is having these sales. So what we're going to talk about today is not only how can we get ready to get found, like how can we make sure that our site can handle this type of traffic? How can we make sure that people are finding us with the right keywords? But also, what can you do to your site right now? Once people are on your site, how can you make sure that your inventory is correct? How can you make sure that people are finding the right things when they're on your site? How can they make sure that they have access to those really great deals that you're talking about? So I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start talking about your SEO as usual, what you can do to make sure that your site is prepped for people to find you. And then Jonathan is going to take over and he's going to talk about what to do once people are actually on your site. So what I like to say when we talk, with both of us, with WooRank and with Hawksearch, WooRank, lead a horse to water. Hawksearch, make it drink. With us, you can not only lead the horse to water, but you can also make it drink. So really great combination. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So the first thing that we really want to talk about when we are discussing getting your site ready and making sure that it can actually handle an influx of visitors is going to be performance. We want to talk about, is your site loading quickly? Is your site able to handle this type of volume? Is it able to load really quickly depending on, like, no matter where people are coming from? Is it going to give them a good experience if they're on mobile? Is it going to give them a good experience if they're on desktop? Are they having some issues with images loading really quickly and then pushing down all the rest of the content? So they're like, oh, this is so frustrating, and they go to another website. So the first tool that I would suggest you use, as always, I have to plug a little bit of WooRank stuff here, is the WooRank Assistant. Now, if you've watched any of our other webinars, you know how to install this. If you're not familiar with it, watch any of our other webinars. But all you need is a WooRank account, and you can get this little widget on your site. And for any page of your site, you will be able to see a full report of what's going on that page. So what we want to look at when we're talking about, Black Friday, Cyber Monday specific pages, not only be the content. So, like, are you telling people exactly what they need to know in the title tag and the meta description? So the things they see when they Google you. Are we also giving them a good mobile experience? So if we go down to our mobile version, are they having a good experience on mobile? Actually, another little fun fact for you, 37% of sales last year for Cyber Monday and Black Friday were on a mobile device. So you're cutting out nearly half of your sales if you don't have a good mobile version. So we want to make sure all that is good. Now, we also want to look at some security issues. Now, we really want to make sure, since people are trusting you, since, likely they are not just going there to find out what sort of deals you have, but they're actually going with the intent to buy, you want to make sure your site is secure, SSL secure. People are trusting you. They're giving you their credit card information. They're spending a good deal of time on your site. You want to make them feel as comfortable as possible, that you're not just playing fast and loose with their credit card information, with their home address. You want to make sure that your site is very secure. And then finally, we want to look at our performance section. So are we looking at anything that could be, so Bridgeline is doing really well. There's nothing that needs to really be fixed here. We also want to look at some image optimization, maybe some images that we can fix. And then the real kind of, I would say the biggest deal, and anybody who's been watching the WooRank webinars will know what I'm about to say, Core Web Vitals. Our Core Web Vitals is what we really, really want to focus on here. Core Web Vitals is just a really Google-centric way to say page experience. Is your page experience going to be doing really well for the people who are visiting your site and who are motivated to buy? We look at three main areas. We look at your largest contentful paint. So how long does it take for your website to load the largest block of text or the largest image? How long does it take for someone to be able to interact with your content? So let's say they know exactly what they want to buy from you. They are going to use specifically for a red turtleneck, and they go on your site and they try to click it, and it's not clickable yet because it's taking too long to load. That's going to really frustrate them. And then also cumulative layout shift, what we kind of talked about before, is something loading really slowly. And then when they go to add something to their cart, all of a sudden the entire page shifts and they accidentally add the wrong thing because you have something that's loading too slowly. So the WooRank Assistant is going to help you to identify if there are any of those elements on your page that are really going to, excuse my French, but really going to piss off the people who are just trying to make a lot of sales. Like, it's Black Friday, it's Cyber Monday. You're not the only site they're hitting. They don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on your site. They want to buy your stuff, then they want to go to Amazon, then they want to go to Best Buy. It's quick. They want to do it quickly. So don't make them wait any longer than they have to. Another really great tool to be able to look at this sort of stuff is Google PageSpeed Insights. So last time we were on the webinar, I'm not sure if anybody remembers, but we spent a good deal talking about Home Depot. So that's just a really good example that I like to use. Home Depot not performing super well on the mobile page speed insights. We also would look at the desktop, doing a little better on the desktop. Now you can also look at the page speed insights for your Core Web Vitals. I will not again, I'm biased because I'm working at WooRank, but you're really going to see very accurate data only if you have a ton of traffic coming to your site. So WooRank can actually gather that information even if you only have one visit. So I do believe WooRank is a little bit more reliable. What I would use PageSpeed Insights for, though, is if you go down here, you can see the different opportunities that you have to really make your site load a lot more quickly for your users. There are different suggestions that you have here. Most of them you can expand and see the exact elements that do need to be fixed. So this is a really great way for you to just, especially now, I mean, we're already almost at the end of October, so you do have time to fix this, but like clock is ticking, especially if some of these are really technical and you need to rope in your IT team to help you out with this. Now, I also want to just go back, maybe we'll go into Home Depot specifically. So right now I'm in the Home Depot website and I am internally reviewing their Cyber Monday page. Now, this is a great way for you to look, like if you have specific pages that you've set up, review them in WooRank. Like sometimes there are some invisible issues that you might be looking at that you're like, oh no, I didn't even realize that my title tag was blank. I didn't even realize that I have, let's say some images that are not optimized. I have some images that need to be cached that can make my site load a lot more quickly. We also would like to focus on our accessibility section. So can people, regardless of their any impairments that they might have, if they have a visual impairment, are they able to navigate your site? Are they able to see what the products are? Are they able to use their screen reader to get a comprehensive product description? Are they able to use the tab button rather than a mouse to get to different form fields? So just making sure that anybody, regardless of who they are or where they're coming from, can actually interact with your site. Now, I don't want to harp on and on and on and on about the WooRank tool, but a lot of the things we're talking about today can all be done within the WooRank tool. Now, I want to also just focus quickly on the WooRank site crawl. If you are an e-commerce site, we have added a new section here in our site crawl down here called eCommerce. And this is going to identify any product that you have listed on your page that you've used structured data for. So if you have used structured data to identify, yes, this is a product that I'm selling, Google, I need you to understand this is a product that I'm selling. We're going to look for these and we're going to tell you if there are any issues with the way that you've categorized this. So we really, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, huge for your users, of course. Like we always want to make sure that your users are having the best possible experience. But at the end of the day, we also need to play by Google's rules. We also need to make sure that Google can understand the content, that Google can say, oh, okay, this automotive mechanic tool, N5, whatever, Home Depot. I'm not very handy, but whatever they're selling here, you want to make sure that Google knows that this is a product that can be sold and this is something that people can add to their virtual cart. There are a lot of different types of issues that you could have. So I would suggest sooner rather than later, make sure your inventory is all up and ready on your website, and then run a crawl of your site and make sure that those things are not only available to be bought, but also Google is recognizing that those things are products to be sold. Now, what I want to segue into is keyword research. Now, keyword research is a very, very, very big part of Cyber Monday and Black Friday. Now, it's going to be a little different than the different types of keyword research you do throughout the year, because you want to focus a lot more on what we call conversional keywords, because people who are shopping that weekend are people with credit card in hand. They are ready to buy. They're not like casually browsing. They're not, looking to just, oh, this might be nice for my mom. Let me wait 2 weeks and buy it full price. They're looking for the deal in the moment. So those keywords that you're looking to really focus on typically will have gift centric keywords around it. So more long tail. So instead of, what's a good present that you would buy? Cologne, men's cologne. So instead of that, you would maybe put in best men's cologne to buy, best discount on men's cologne, or gift ideas, colognes for dad. So a little bit longer of a sentence, but those are all people, if they're searching that way, they're ready to buy. So those are the keywords that you want to start tracking. So for instance, for Home Depot, I did just casually track these two searches today for Home Depot. So Home Depot Black Friday, Home Depot Cyber Monday deals. And what you can do with, so Home Depot Black Friday is ranking number 2 for Home Depot. So let's go ahead and look in to see what people, so blackfriday.com is actually ranking above, just to say what kind of deals they have. And then we can see what other keywords are being used by what other websites. So we have like YouTube, NBC News, not a whole lot of competition here, but you can use WooRank to then look at some of the other trends that you want to be focusing on. So I wanted to quickly show you a few tools that you can use in order to start doing that keyword research. Now, a really great one to look at some trends is Google Keyword Planner. Now, I use some really generic keywords here to really visualize this graph. So Black Friday deals, and Cyber Monday. You can see here, based on these keywords, what time of year these keywords are spiking. Obviously, right?
Pop quiz, right? When was this?
Yeah, obviously this is going to be spiking at this time of the year. But as if you're running kind of a smaller business, or if you have a very specific business, if you, for instance, sell golf equipment, let's say, and you want to look into gift golf ideas for dad. My stepdad's birthday was a few weeks ago, and that's the exact thing that I Googled. So I'll be a little spike in October, but gift ideas for dad, golf gift ideas. You can go back and you can look at some of these trends to see when these keywords are spiking, how many searches are actually happening, what the competition might potentially be for a keyword like this, and then maybe how much people are actually bidding if you're thinking about doing this as a PPC campaign rather than just straight SEO. So a lot of really great information in Google's Keyword Planner. The other thing that you can look for is Google Trends. Now, Google Trends, I use this gift ideas for brother. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I always struggle with gift ideas for the men in my life. Like my mom, no problem. I know exactly what she wants. I know exactly what to buy for her. But when it comes to the men in my life, I'm like, oh, I don't know. So gift ideas for brother, if we look for that search term. Interest over time, very clearly, November 15th to the 21st last year, which falls right around Black Friday. We can also see by region, what countries are really using that keyword the most. And then we have some related topics too, which is cool. Christmas idea gifts, related queries, gift ideas for brother-in-law, and then again by region, you can see that there. So again, just a really great tool for you to kind of get an eye on trends and what people are searching, and worldwide if you operate internationally, to see if this is a feasible keyword for you to be targeting for multiple countries, or if this is more of like a specific to America thing. Because I don't know if I already said it, I can't remember if I did or not, or if this was just me and Jonathan chatting before, but Black Friday is just not only American anymore. It's not. It's happening, I mean, pretty much everywhere I've ever lived, which is a lot of places. There's always a Black Friday thing happening. London, for instance, that's where I live now. People are already advertising Cyber Monday. So this is no longer just an American thing. Like, this is really global phenomenon. The last thing I wanted to show you for the tools that you could use is Answer the Public. So Answer the Public gives you a really great ideas on how to expand upon some keywords that you are already using. So let's say red sweater, for instance, you can then type that in and get some different ideas of what people are actually searching. So again, going with the very generic Black Friday type query, I typed in gift ideas, and I can see down here a lot of different types of queries that I might be able to look at. So gift ideas for boyfriend, homemade gift ideas, bridal shower, elephant gift ideas. So pretty popular game, I think, in America. And then we have also some with prepositions. So gift ideas that can fit into an envelope, gift ideas that you can make, Christmas gift ideas without spending money, which probably is not like ideal for the e-commerce business owners that are watching today. Gift wrapping gift ideas without dairy. That's a pretty specific one. But you can see where I'm going with this. This gives a lot of really great ideas of type of content that you can use, which brings me to almost my final point, and then I promise I'll give it over to you, Jonathan. This is going to be, so now that you have the keywords that you want to focus on for this specific weekend, what do you do then? Like how do you incorporate these things? Couple different ways. I mean, you can do Black Friday specific landing pages. That's a really great idea. You can do product descriptions. So adding in those sort of like buzzwords into your product descriptions, like Black Friday deal, Cyber Monday exclusive deal, that sort of stuff, to just kind of make it very clear that this is a seasonal deal, that this is specifically for this weekend. But keywords need a bit of soak time. Like you can't just add them the night before Black Friday and expect Google to just pick it up. Like you need to be doing this work now and you need to be putting out those things now. And then my personal favorite idea for this is doing gift guides. Gift guides are such a great way for all things SEO. So I'll just show you quickly gift guide. Oh, I spelled gift wrong. Gift guide for dad, gift guide for brother. Both of these search engine results pages have pretty similar, but Esquire always pops up for me whenever I'm looking for a gift guide. And they, I think, do it so phenomenally. They have what what anybody calls is like a slideshow. So you can actually slide through for different products, and they each have their own individual page that is then you can, link out, maybe they do affiliate links, whoever, but each of these pages is then, dedicated to this one specific product. So you get the opportunity, if you're doing it on your own website and your own ecosystem, you have the opportunity for a lot of really healthy internal linking. So not only do you have your slideshow, but you can link out to other products that you have. Phenomenal for SEO. And the keyword of best gift ideas for XYZ is such a huge trend for this time of year that it's really fantastic. It's interactive. It's fun for people to look through. It's fun to give people ideas for stuff like this. So for me, if you have a lot of products that you think would lend itself well to this type of presentation, then I wouldn't even hesitate to get started on something like that.
And Courtney, the thing I would want to maybe ask you is that, gift ideas, gift guides, we're obviously talking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but those can be year-round experiences.
Oh,
People,
absolutely.
birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. It's not I think the good thing to kind of take away from this is if you put the effort into this now, they can
Evergreen.
benefit you year-round as well, and obviously
For
have that
sure.
knock-on effect for the holidays here.
Yeah, it's a fantastic point. And it's also something that is so easily editable. I thought I was going to stumble on that word, editable, that, when you come out with new products, you can add a slide, right? Like
Yeah.
it's very easy to kind of duplicate the success, add new products, take away things that are out of stock. Really something that can just keep giving all year round. You can even duplicate this stuff, tweak it a little bit. Father's Day instead of Christmas, Mother's Day instead of birthday. There's a lot of really good benefits to having a structure like this on your site. Now, my final point, because I know I think Jonathan has a lot more important stuff to tell you than I do, would be for the non-Esquires and the non-Amazons of the world. What can you do to get started? Not only can you make sure that your website has a good present and is very present, gifts on the brain, presence. Not only can you make sure that everything is kind of technically running really smoothly, like we talked about before, but if you are relying a little bit more on the Black Friday side of things, you're a brick and mortar store, you're really relying on people coming in, buying your handmade, whatever it is that you make or sell in your shop. Maybe you have a little chocolate shop that you don't deliver because it's all fresh made. There are some things that you can do, mostly having to do with just making sure that Google knows everything about your business hours, about anything like that. So what you would want to do if you don't already have a Google My Business account, like set that up immediately. I'll send a link into the comments. We have a full instructional guide of how to get that set up. And then once your business has a Google My Business account, what you're going to want to do is go into the info section. And you're going to want to just make sure that everything about this is accurate. So your address, is that accurate? Your store hours, maybe you're working extra hours on Black Friday. Maybe you have extended hours. Maybe you open at midnight on Thanksgiving. You can add special hours and holiday hours. What you can also do is add service areas. So if you only deliver to a certain area, or if you have a special pickup location for people who have pre-ordered Black Friday gifts, you can add all of this into your Google My Business. So when people are searching, chocolate shop near me, they will get an alert that, Betty's chocolate shop in Punxsutawney has I don't know why I thought of that town, Groundhog's Day. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna say you're getting your holidays confused here now.
I know. Too many holidays. I feel like Jack Skellington, Nightmare Before Christmas. But if someone is to Google that, they'll get an alert that, this chocolate shop has special hours for Black Friday. And if you want to pre-order, you can pick up at 123 Smith Street in Punxsutawney. So just some little tweaks that you can do if you are relying a little bit more on the brick and mortar. It doesn't mean that you have to ignore the internet entirely. There are still some things that you can do. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Jonathan. I'm sorry. I said that I was
Yeah,
going to be 20 minutes. I was 24. I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. I'll take those 4 minutes back from you some other time.
Sure.
Let me go ahead and share my screen here,
Definitely.
and we will get going here. Just a second. There we go. Let me go ahead and share that.
Yeah.
There we go. So, what I wanted to really kind of first talk about, kind of bridge the gap from what Courtney's been talking about, really kind of that SEO focused approach to things, is really just kind of very quickly go through some of the functionality that Hawksearch can bring to that SEO conversation. Because while obviously WooRank and the other tools that Courtney highlighted there are very useful, one of the things we do want to stress is that Hawksearch can help you on that kind of journey there. So let me go ahead and first we're going to just jump out to Google, and I'm going to do a real quick search here for the term. Let's do a search for green felt. And when I pull back in this search result here, one of the things that we're able to do from the Hawk search end is that we're able to help with building out some of the sitemaps. So as Courtney was talking about, building out those promotional pages, building out, making sure that the kind of content that you have is visible to Google. We want to help with that from the Hawk search side. So if you're building out a Black Friday promotional page, one of the things Hawk search can help you do is build out the content on there, and then let Google know that page exists on your site, and then also the facets and filters. So the reason that I've done this search for specifically green felt is you can see here that one of the first natural results that shows up here on the first page of Google is from a company called the Online Fabric Store, who is using Hawksearch to drive some of their sitemap generation here. And if I click into this link here, this is actually going to take us to what we would call a landing page. This could be a promotional page. This could be a category page. In Hawksearch terminology, we refer to this as a landing page. You'll notice up here at the top that the URL is actually the onlinefabricstore.com/product group felt, with the facet selection already pre-built here for color green. So what's happening in the back end, and the reason that we're able to help Online Fabric Store have this page be indexed, is that Hawksearch knows that there is a felt fabric landing page. That's something that we have built out with them. They're using Hawksearch for the facets and filters, the product display, and so on. And as part of that, we're building on a sitemap that then highlights what the facets and filters are on this page. And Online Fabric Store has the ability to pick and choose which facets and filters they'd like to have included in that sitemap. In this use case, obviously, in this industry here for fabric and so on, color is going to be one of the most important things that people will search on. And so having that included in the sitemap, Hawksearch was able to let Google know as part of that sitemap that there was the onlinefabricstore.com, that there was a product group felt landing page, and that green was one of the options for that. And of course, as we look here, this also helps just from an SEO perspective, because then you're selecting one of those facets. That then, of course, means that the content on this page is going to rank really well as in addition, because it's all green content around that. So one of those kind of neat tools that we have within Hawksearch to kind of help bridge that gap between, WooRank can really help you kind of see what's happening on this, what externally, what people are looking at your site, how Google and other services are looking at the content on there. Hawksearch can help with that functionality there as well, helping build out that sitemap. But this kind of speaks to one of the other things I want to touch on with how we can help with the experience. And the kind of the lead up here has been, people are coming to the site. We're using all of those great tools from WooRank and from our SEO influencer tool here in Hawksearch to get people to the site. You got them there, as Courtney said several times, and I think it's a really great kind of idea. They have their credit card in hand. You want to make sure that they actually use that while they're there on your site. So how can we do that? And one of the things that we always try to stress as we go into the holiday period here is the best thing to start with is to really start to take a look at some of the analytics and reporting. You want to understand kind of where things are at currently. What was the experiences that people were having last year around this time? What were the common top search terms? What were people looking for? This gives you kind of the lay of the land. You want to know kind of what you're walking into. It's a good time to review all of those analytics and understand what's happening on your site to make sure that visitors are getting the right experience. Just kind of at a bare minimum, that the right things are being returned, that they're not getting no results pages, and so on. So as an example here, this could be pretty universal. These reports are, you can find these in Google Analytics and other reporting tools. Obviously, we want to show you here in Hawksearch kind of what we bring to the table from that perspective. And there's a number of reports that are kind of geared towards this, helping you understand what people are doing on your site. So there's things like, one of your top search keywords. Of course, that's going to be an important thing. Top keywords by click. So when people are doing those searches, are they actually interacting with any of those results? Searches with poor results. This is a fantastic report to understand. When people are coming to your site and doing searches, Are they actually getting results? Are they getting no results? Are they only getting a few results? We want to help expose those things. And this can help kind of build into the idea of making sure that when someone does get on the site, that they're having a good experience, that they're not finding those excuses to bounce out of the site and go someplace else. Some other quick reports to highlight here. We'd also want to look at maybe your spelling suggestions that we have. So people misspelling things. Courtney just misspelled gift. Google caught her for that and fixed it.
Oops.
But we want to also look at that on a site level. Are people doing that on your site and having those issues? And what can you?
So is Courtney on your site?
Is Courtney on our site? And is she misspelling gift? Let's go ahead and help her with that. And then one of the really ones that I think is super important is the reverse of that other report that we are talking about there, of the top keywords with clicks, is the other way around. What are the visitors that are doing searches and then not interacting with the results? Are there issues with those results? Are they not seeing the right products that they're anticipating? Are there maybe different? Maybe you need to set up a synonym or something like that. The nice thing about I want to give you kind of the high level of a number of the reports here, but let's take a deeper look at one of these, because one of the things we try and stress here is, to Courtney's point, the clock is ticking. You've got limited time to kind of try and get things in place for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just the holiday shopping season in general. So we want to kind of make this experience of running through your analytics as kind of painless as possible.
I'm just going to make your screen a little bigger so people can focus on the report there. There you go.
Please. So what we're seeing here is just kind of a more detailed breakdown of one of those reports. Of course, as I was mentioning earlier, you want to take a look at different time frames on this. You want to kind of look recently, as Courtney was also highlighting, we're already starting to see those searches start to gain traction. We're already starting to see people thinking. And, something I'm sure a lot of people have even heard just from the news is that, we're being encouraged more and more this season to start shopping earlier and earlier because of all the supply constraints and shortages that are happening in the industry. It's something that people are starting to think about holiday shopping a lot earlier. So you want to kind of take a look at what's happening currently. But I would also say, let's look bigger picture. Let's look at what was happening previously. Let's go back to the last holiday season and take a look at what those search terms were and what people were pulling back in with no results. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to say let's just go ahead and get us a bigger picture here. We'll go ahead and refresh that, pull back in our detailed breakdown here. Now, the way that I always want to talk about this is that this can give you insight. What analytics are supposed to do is let you know what's happening on your site. But that workflow process, that idea of trying to make this a little bit easier for you guys, one of the things we really focus on from the Hawksearch end is trying to deliver on that. So, common use case here. Someone coming to your site, searching for returns. It can be a really poor e-commerce experience, especially during the holiday season, or I guess in this case, maybe directly after the holiday season, as people have gotten those gifts and they're like, this shirt that red sweater doesn't quite fit as well as I would like. I had too many pies throughout the holiday season here. I might need to do a return. People are coming to your site and doing a search for returns. Common knowledge, they're not going to be looking for products that have returns almost universally. And so this report can help highlight those use cases. Here is a search over the last year that returned 0 results. And we can see that the term returns is our most searched term. Been searched 26 times here. Again, from a workflow process and from an ease of use process, we want to make this something that you can then dig deeper into. I can select the term returns from here. That'll take us into the preview functionality of Hawksearch, which will highlight what are people actually seeing when they're doing this search. And this can be, you can do this on your site. You don't need to be using the preview here. We just kind of think it provides a better workflow. But the idea here is look at your analytics, get that information around how visitors are interacting with your site, and then actually look at the site. Don't just look at the reporting information, because obviously things can have changed from when that, if we're talking about reporting from last year to currently, if we're looking at even things that are active maybe last week to this week, things are always changing in the e-commerce space. You want to make sure that you're actually verifying how things are working here. From the Hawksearch tool, it's just kind of one big workflow of look at the reporting, click on that term. We're looking at the preview here. Now from here, obviously the use case is very straightforward. Someone's done a search for returns. We know that they're not looking for any products. And the fact that this is pulling back in 0 results is maybe almost expected, but it's not a good experience from a commerce perspective. You want to make sure that you're enhancing and providing kind of that customer journey across the experience here. So from our end, I'm just going to go ahead and one of the things you'd want to do at this point is just add a redirect rule. You want to find those use cases where visitors are searching for terms like Black Friday, shipping, returns, Cyber Monday, sales, deals, those kind of more generic terms. And this is a good example for when you can set up a redirect to point your users towards what those items should be. So once you get them on the site, you want to make sure that if they're interacting with it, that they're finding the right things. And so in this use case, remembering some of the basics that you have access to, some of the core functionality that you would think of from a site perspective is just a simple redirect to say, you know what, when someone does this search, we want to make sure that we're taking them to the right content. Again, a benefit from with the Hawksearch, it's all one big workflow. We've gone from the reporting into the preview. We've verified that that's an issue. We can use that smart bar down there at the bottom to pull us right back into the specific section of our tool, which is our redirect section. And the trigger has actually already been built out so that we're one step closer to having this issue solved of the keyword search. Next time someone does a keyword search that contains the term returns, we can go ahead and define, well, where do we want to send them out to and how do we want to address that? So this is the kind of takeaway that I wanted to really highlight here is this idea of you want to look at the reporting, you want to review that, and you want to verify that. The other thing that you want to do as part of this process is not just look at things like redirects. It's core functionality. You want to make sure these kind of use cases where visitors are doing these more generic searches are accounted for. You want to make sure you're also reviewing kind of the existing merchandising that might be out there. So for that end, let's actually go ahead and jump back into the reporting section here. Let's take a look at another one of our searches, or another one of our reports that you should be looking at. Just in general, what are people searching for on your site? We'll go ahead and use that report here to pull back into our detailed breakdown, and we'll go ahead and blow this out a little bit further again, just because this is our demonstration environment. We don't get a ton of actual live searches here. And so the use case that I would highlight at this point then is, breaking this down. We want to understand, the other thing to take away from these searches is, the idea of they've got that credit card in hand. You want them to be responding to this. What are the searches that people are actually converting off of? And so there's more detailed reporting on this, but just this high level reporting that covers every search on the site here. We can see here are the terms that people are searching on. Here are the number of searches that we're seeing. What are the orders that those are leading to? And of course, that conversion percentage. So this is, again, giving you more information to act on to say, well, we're seeing the term hiking shoes being super important for us, but no one's actually converting off of it. What's happening there? What can I do to help improve that experience? And again, on our end, we want to make that verification process very easily. So I can select that term from that report. We then go back into that preview. And then this is kind of what I wanted to get into next is this idea of reviewing the existing marketing. As we get into the holiday season, people's expectations might shift a little bit. They might not just be looking for what's the newest item. They might be looking for what's the best-selling item. They might be very concerned about that idea of what's in stock and out of stock. So you want to review what your current merchandising rules are within your system so that you can make sure that you're delivering the right expectations and the right experience for the holiday season. So, we got a merchandising banner that's showing up here. Maybe we want to swap that out for a more holiday themed banner. This looks like this was, sometime in the summer, this guy's got shorts on. Maybe we want to swap out for some boots or something like that, as opposed to the climbing experience that we have here currently. The items that we have pinned and boosted, these are the things that you want to be looking at and understanding. What is the experience that we're currently driving, and does this align with what our current merchandising goals are for the holiday season? So from the perspective of merchandising, the way that we always like to look at this is there are kind of three different levels that you want to look at. There is this kind of immediate ability to pin items. These are the kind of direct focus. You want to make sure this always shows up in the first spot. It might be a bestseller. It might be something that you anticipate is going to be a hot item for the holiday season. It can be any kind of, this is something that regardless of really any other kind of metric, you want to make sure this shows up in the very first spot. We want to make sure that you have that ability, and you want to make sure that you're leveraging that intelligently as well, so that you're not confusing your visitors either. If they do a search for hiking shoes here, we wouldn't expect socks to be the very first thing that are pinned. That's a use case for another merchandising functionality. But you can use this ability to pin items towards the top of your results. Make sure that what your visitors are most commonly, what you anticipate they're going to be looking for, is front and center. In the Hawksearch system, it's a very straightforward on-off functionality to toggle those items towards the top and then to drag and drop their placement. So if you do want to influence that, again, try and cut down on the friction on the setup end. We want to make sure that we're focusing on that idea of that you've got that limited amount of time at this point. We want to make sure that you're not having to get the IT team involved, get your developers involved to really focus on what the merchandising efforts might be. But really, the pinning is something that I think is maybe less important in the holiday season. I want to make sure that people are aware of these kind of concepts, because it can be very beneficial to take a couple items and make sure that they are the very first thing. But we want to also really, what's more commonly used in the holiday season is the concept of boosting and burying, because this can be a lot more dynamic in terms of how things are being influenced in your results. I've mentioned a couple of times the idea of things that are being in stock, out of stock. That can be a very fluid, very dynamic situation. If something's in stock and it's on sale, you might want to promote it to the top of your results. But as soon as that gets out of stock, you don't want to be presenting items to your visitors that they can no longer purchase. So
Yeah, not to mention as well, just one of my little fun facts,
yeah.
statistics. Cyber Monday sales actually peak between 8 and 9 p.m. So you have already had a full weekend of Black Friday shoppers. You had a full day of very eager Cyber Monday shoppers. And then the majority of shoppers are coming right when you thought you could take a breath. So I think that idea of making sure your stock is properly presented is especially relevant here.
So let's walk through how you might accomplish that then. And one of the things that you would want to keep in mind is that, again, from our end here, we want to make this very visual. We want to make this something you guys can see. If you're working with another system, really just kind of dig into what those rules are in the system, verify on your live site what those actually are. On the Hawksearch end, the way that we'd go about doing that is we just go ahead and hover over this, click this explain button. That'll let us know are there those merchandising rules that are impacting this. And if we wanted to, if I needed to tweak this, I want to change that, I can go ahead and select this. We'll then go from that preview right back into the workbench. Again, try and really focus on that workflow, that ease of use. But what you want to use is you want to use those dynamic points as your point of reference for these boosting and these bearing and these merchandising rules. So in this use case here, we've set up a very simple, very straightforward kind of, hey, we want to focus on a particular brand. Really on our end here from the Hawksearch perspective, and this should apply. It's different from every system, so I don't want to speak universally. On our end here, we're looking at kind of the attribute-based approach. Quantity on hand. Is this in stock? Yes or no? Any of those values then could be visible here in these drop-down boxes to build out what those use cases are. So if I wanted to say, is this on sale? Yes or no? Let's just use that as an example here, since that's a data point that I have available. I could say, you know what? I want to make sure that if it's currently on sale, let me just type in yes here. We'll go ahead and say yes. That would then go ahead and as we add items, coming up for the Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, as we're getting items added to our inventory, we're flagging them in our data as being on sale. I then don't need to be worried about, coming in and creating individual rules for this. It can be one universal thing that accomplishes that goal. If it's tagged in our data as being on sale, we can make sure through this slider here that it is pushed towards the top. And again, we're always big on that visualization, so I can calculate the matches and see kind of what's the number of items that are going to be impacted by that. And let's get a little preview of what those items are even going to be. So by taking this information, you can account for, not just use the analytics to get an idea of, well, how are people currently searching? How have they searched previously? What can we anticipate? Using some of the information that Courtney provided there, what are the trends that we're going to see coming into the site that we're building for, that we're building those PPC campaigns around, that we want to identify? Using that information, you can then come into the experience of, well, what are the results that visitors are getting back in, and start to verify that you're meeting those goals. What are the current merchandising rules that we have in place? Do we want to discontinue those? Do we need to tweak those? Do we need to modify that in some fashion? Do we want to set start dates and end dates? Again, one of the other, as we start talking about, obviously, that specific window of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you want to be able to leverage things like start dates and end dates to create those rules specifically. No one wants to be logging in on their Thanksgiving holiday here, at least in the States, or even worldwide. I'm sure no one wants to be waking up at Thursday at 2 a.m. to be starting a merchandising rule. You want to be able to come into the tool and then say, you know what, let's go ahead and kick this off that Thursday at midnight, and then I'll go ahead and start. I don't need to worry about it. I can sleep through my pie turkey coma here in the States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fundamentals are the building blocks of fun.
And really, that's what I think what my main message would be here. Courtney had a lot of great information, kind of how to look big picture on that. But when you start looking at the site experience, it really is about going back to the fundamentals and thinking about that customer journey. Factoring in those use cases like we're talking about for this season of availability is probably going to be a very big thing that you want to factor in. You want to make sure that you're accounting for that, but really just kind of going back to basics and saying, do we have our redirects in place? Do we have our core merchandising rules in place? And one of the things I would want to stress from the Hawksearch end, at least, is that there can be a lot of automation. So something else that we want to really kind of stress is that to the idea of there being lots of work to be done. Of course, there's things that you need to be paying attention to, things that do need to be manually tweaked and set up, and rules that need to be created for your individual business. But there can be a lot of automation that people can leverage from product recommendations as well, which can be a very good, people bought this, they're also looking at these other items, making those relationships, other functionality that we would offer to that to help provide and solve for that solution. So you want to review your recommendations as well if you're leveraging that. If not, probably a little too late in the year to get started on that, but it could be a good thing to look forward to next year. How can you help increase that average order value? recommendation is going to be one of those really great ways to do that, by understanding what visitors are doing and learning from that. And from a business perspective, that really is can be a very hands-off approach, because the tool itself learns from that. And then last but not least, I would also highlight that if you do have any machine learning, make sure that you're leveraging that as well. On the Hawksearch end, we have 4 different levels to help improve that, where we're looking at what are visitors actually interacting with. So understanding, they've gotten to that search results page, they've gotten to that listing page. What are they actually selecting from that? What are they adding to their cart? What are they actually converting off of? Personalizing those experiences as well. So we want to make sure that while there is going to be, of course, that idea of here's the business goals, here's what the industry is also kind of directing us towards, we want to learn from what your visitors are also telling us and help kind of keep that, as stress-free as possible from our end here.
Yeah. Okay. Are you kaput? Are you done?
I'm good. I could keep talking for another 20 minutes if you want me to, but I want to make sure we have time for questions here. And if there's
you and I together, I think we could both talk about our individual areas of expertise for a very, very long time. But there's not enough time to get ready for your Cyber Monday, Black Friday weekend to listen to us drone on and on for another 20 minutes. I'm sure if you're watching right now, you're like, oh my God, I got to get ready. So I did go ahead and put a last call for questions into the comments. As always, if you do have questions, but you're just feeling a little too shy to ask them today, you can email me directly, Courtney at WooRank.com. I'll just go ahead and put that in the comments. So as promised, we do have a little present for anyone who has pre-registered for the webinar. So I'm sorry if you just, hopped on today.
Encouragement for them to pre-register in the future, right?
Yeah, or just email me, because I'm pretty I'm pretty flexible. So if you want to email me, if you didn't actually, Zachariah has a question. So I'm going to say about the gift, and then we're going to talk to Zachariah.
The suspense.
I know. I don't even do this on purpose. What's wrong with me today? The gift. Yes, the gift. So if you pre-registered for the webinar, or if you just wink, email me by the end of this week. It's not going to be forever. You will be receiving 15% off of your next annual WooRank subscription. So this is applicable to anybody with an annual subscription. Even if you already have one, we'll put the discount on your next bill. If you are monthly and you want to upgrade to annual, we'll put it on that bill. And if you're not a WooRank customer yet, you can just go ahead and email me or sign up for a free trial, and we'll tack that discount onto your annual subscription. So Zachariah, whenever you're ready, go ahead and hit me with the question.
No pressure here, right?
No pressure. Yeah. So I think people are pretty ready for Black Friday. Okay, Zachariah, here we go. Let's put it on the screen here. What would be the best incentive to get people to buy my products on my e-commerce website, especially during Black Friday? Ooh, incentives. That's a really great question. I don't know if you could probably speak to this a little more than me with the raising average order value in terms of like campaigning beforehand. I don't know, you guys are here because I promised a little special gift. So there's something to be said there with maybe adding some perks and bonuses with your campaigns in the weeks leading up to it, like spend X amount, get Y free gift. Like there are certain little things that you can do to incentivize people to go to your site in the weeks leading up, but perhaps you can handle when people are actually there.
Yeah, so the thing to note about that is what we usually see is it can be a matter of communication. Any incentive, I think, is a bonus, a percentage off, free shipping, a discounted shipping, any kind of little bit helps. And obviously you have to think that all of your competitors, obviously Amazon being the 800-pound gorilla, kind of by default is offering a lot of that free shipping. So that's usually something you need to at least factor in. X, if your order is X amount of dollars, it's free shipping, whatever you can do in that regard, or a percentage off or something like that. But really, the thing I would stress is that those things can be very hard to understand when first coming to a site. If I've arrived through your site through some Google searching, or if I've we want to make sure we're leveraging things like merchandising banners. You want to make sure that you're leveraging things like flair and kind of tags on the product results themselves, on the product display pages. You want to really layer in wherever you can to help communicate that incentive, so that it is. I can't tell you how many times I've bought something, and then you get to the checkout process, and then they're like, oh, hey, if you add on another $15, well, then you'll get something. You get free shipping. It's like, well, now I have to go back all the way through, and now it's a process. If I had known this in advance while I was initially shopping, I would be a lot more likely to be like, oh, I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for that, and I'm looking for this, and just kind of build out my shopping.
A little in-app, like, and I know a lot of kind of like clothing websites, like ASOS, for instance, like they'll have a little banner or a little pop-up next to your little cart icon that says like $20 more for free shipping or something. And it kind of keeps like a running clock.
Yeah.
Maybe another cool idea, I've seen a lot of websites do this, is like bear in mind what goes together, like bundles. Like, for instance, if you're selling La Crusette baking dish, or for like, that's a pretty high price point, right? Like maybe something that would go with that would be like La Crusette, like oven mitts, something that's a pretty lower price point. Typically they'd sell for 30. Maybe with this bundle, you want to sell them for 15, something like that. Like, I think that's another thing that you can accomplish with Hawksearch, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that can be handled either through the recommendations, or even there's the spotlighting feature that we have to say, if you're looking for baking sets, here are the accessories that might want to go with that. That could be separate from the search results. So
yeah, maybe you could do a special Black Friday pricing for that bundle.
Yeah. It really comes down to what as a business, you're capable of providing. I wouldn't say there's necessarily one best incentive.
Right.
I would look at kind of, it's one of the other things to keep in mind. It's less of a hot tip to prepare, but for looking forward to the future is look at your competition during this season. What are they doing? And keep that in mind for next year. Obviously everyone's always kind of looking at everyone else's businesses to see, what is my competitor offering versus what I'm able to offer. And you want to be able to look at this time frame to also understand what can I maybe look forward to doing next year, to iterate on what, or to improve, not just copy and match them, but to improve upon that.
Right. Okay. Well, I hope we answered your question, Zachariah. I don't see any other questions rolling in for now. So I'm going to let everyone go about their days now. Thanks for listening to us again, and wishing all of you such good luck this holiday season.
Yes.
I hope that we've helped you prepared. We are actually going to be releasing a pretty extensive guide on everything that we spoke about today. I'm aiming to get it out to anyone who's on our mailing list within the next couple of weeks. So certainly before Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we'll have what we talked about today fleshed out a little bit, so you can actually go back and reference what we spoke about. And yeah, hope that we helped. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over to me, Courtney at WooRank.com. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next time we hop on. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Courtney. A pleasure as always.